Right, good morning everyone. Welcome to the JB Claret YouTube channel, where we bring you France against Australia in the World Cup today. After the events of yesterday, the wonderful game between Portugal and Spain ending 3-3, we've had a chance to catch our breath, have a little nap, and we're back straight at it for another big game. The venue today is the Kazan Arena in Russia, and the lineups have been announced. We are 10 minutes away from kickoff. And the France team as follows. I'll follow with the Australian team, but we'll start with France. Lloris in goal, then you've got Pavard, Varane, Umtiti and Hernandez in defence. You've got Tolisso, Kante, Pogba in a three-man midfield, and then the three up front is Mbappe, Griezmann and Dembele. Substitutes as follows. You've got Kimpembe, Lemar, Olivier Giroud, Matuidi, Steven Nzonzi, Stephen Mandanda, Rami Fekir, who nearly had his move to Liverpool sorted and then things went wrong, Sidbé, Fabian, Mendy and Areola. And then for Australia, there will be a few familiar names if you're of the English persuasion, but in goal is Matt Ryan of Brighton, and in defence we've got Risdon, Sainsbury, Milligan and Behich. Four-man midfield of Leckie, Jedinak, Moy and Cruz. Then it's a 1-1 up front with Rogic and Nabut. Substitutes are as follows with Degenek, Meredith, Tim Cahill. Could make an appearance. He has a bit of a goal-scoring record in World Cups. He could join Cristiano Ronaldo on 4 goals in 4 World Cups if he was to score today. We've also got German, Luogo, Juric, Jones, McLaren, Arzani, Vukovic, Pretantos, however you say that one, number 21, and then Irvine, which is a lot easier to say. The referee is Andreas Cunha. So a few interesting things about the team news. France's Djibril Sidbé has been passed fit after a knee injury. Kylian Mbappe and Osman Dembele are expected to play in the three up front, as it's been confirmed. Australia coach Bert Van Marwijk could drop Miles Jedinak, although that hasn't happened, to play alongside Lugano in midfield, but Lugano is actually the one who was dropped to the bench, and has the tough decision as to who to pick between Tommy Jurnick, Jamie McLaren and Andrew Nabut all up front, and he's obviously gone with Nabut, the number 11 up front. Now, in terms of the previous meetings between these two sides, France generally have the edge, but their last competitive meeting back in 2001, which was the Confederations Cup, Australia actually won by 1-0. So it's, in terms of competitive action, they have the edge in that sense. But the last time they met, which was in 2013, France drummed Australia 6-0. So anything like that today, and I'm sure the French will be happy. We are a little while off kickoff yet. We've got about 5 minutes. Once the teams are in the tunnel, I'll be handing you over to John Stuttard, who is our commentator today. The teams are now in the tunnel, so I will hand you over in just a moment. One last thing, in terms of the comments, keep them clean, talk about football. Good morning, Russ, and don't forget to vote for your man of the match when it comes to it towards the end of the game. I'm sure John will remind you. But if this match is anything to go by, if Portugal-Spain was quite the game, this has certainly got quite the game to follow up with. Anyway, I'm going to hand you over to John Stuttard as the teams are coming out of the tunnels now. It's France against Australia in the World Cup. Over to you, John.
Thank you very much, Chris. And to quote the words of a famous cricket commentator, ironically from Australia, the great Richie Benaud, who's sadly no longer with us. Good morning, everybody. The teams are out here in Kazan for the first of our 4 live matches, and of course it's going to be an absolute commentary fest here on the JB Claret YouTube channel. As I said, this is going to be an absolute thriller minute, and if anything, if we get anything, the sort of match that we had last night between Portugal and Spain, I think we're going to be in for one hell of a tournament. The teams are out now and they're preparing to do the national anthems in just a second, and we'll bring you those in a second. And it's now time for the national anthems. Sung with great gusto, both national anthems, and I think it's going to be a very highly charged atmosphere here in Kazan today, where the temperature's 19 degrees Celsius. It's a sunny day, and it's also a humidity factor of 32% humidity. As the captain Jelinek of Australia shakes hands with Hugo Lloris, who's the French captain. Of course, the last time we covered France, they lost the final of Euro 2016. And this is going to be their lineup with Hugo Lloris in goal. Then a back four of Benjamin Pavard, Rafael Varane of Real Madrid, Samuel Umtiti of Barcelona, Paul Pogba in midfield there, Antoine Griezmann up front, Kylian Mbappe the central striker, Ousmane Dembele the other striker of Barcelona, Tolisso one of the three midfielders, N'Golo Kante of course of Chelsea, and Lucas Hernandez the other defender. And they're going to play 4-3-3, so a very attack-minded formation from Didier Deschamps, who's really yet to prove himself, who's had tournament experience, Euro 2016, in reaching the final and almost getting them over the line. The referee today, Andres Acuna of Uruguay, and the two linesmen, Nicolas Taran and Mauricio Espinosa, are both from Uruguay. The fourth official, of course, is from Chile. Well, all eyes will be on the likes of Mbappe and Griezmann. Griezmann was the talisman in Euro 2016, of course, and a real opportunity for him to shine on the world's greatest stage. The Atletico Madrid centre forward, who was absolutely unstoppable in the Europa final 3 or 4 weeks ago. And we got the VAR in the there's about 4. There's a team of 4. I don't know why they need 4. The big one is Biaro of Argentina. Let's look at the Australian lineup with Matt Ryan starting in goal. Then it's 5 Mark Milligan, one of the 2 centre backs. Matthew Leckie, a great winger, of course, and Robbie Cruz, the other winger. He'll play on the left with Leckie on the right. Mabu, Aaron Moy, of course, of Huddersfield, Mili Jelinek, they're the 2 holders. And then Becic, he's the left back. Joshua Risden is the other right back. Trent Sainsbury the centre back, and Tom Rogic will be the number 10, if you like. And there's some big names amongst the substitutes bench. Brad Jones, of course, former Middlesbrough keeper, and Tim Cahill amongst the substitutes. Now back at Millwall, his very first English club. And Bert van Marwijk is their coach as well. So they're going to go they're going to pack the midfield, it looks like there. Bert van Marwijk, who's had experience in the World Cup before, of course, with his native Holland. Got them to the World Cup final in 2010 in South Africa. The World Cup final of 2010, where they lost to a late goal from Andres Iniesta as Spain won their first ever world title. And it's going to be Australia in all yellow shirts, with all yellow shirts, shorts and stockings getting us underway. France, of course, need I tell you, in blue shirts, white shorts and blue stockings. So the first of 4 live games here on the JB Claret YouTube channel are underway, and France are going to go attack from left to right here in Kazan. And of course the stadium home to the Russian side, Rubin Kazan, who have been perennial Champions League contenders for quite some time, of course, or participants. As Pogba gets beaten to it in the air, and that's going to fall to the goalkeeper Hugo Lloris, of course, of Tottenham Hotspur. Also the captain, of course. Australia have a decent record in World Cups, and Tim Cahill, funnily enough, if he does come on today and scores, he will join an exclusive list of players to have scored in 4 consecutive World Cups, and he would join the likes of Pele, Uwe Seeler and Miroslav Klose, both of Germany, and of course Cristiano Ronaldo, who scored 3 goals last night in that 3-0 draw against Spain, and he became the 4th member of the club. And Cahill stands, if he comes on, of course, or scores in any of the other 2 group games, will join that exclusive group of people to have achieved all that. As the ball is threaded through towards him, back inside the penalty area, chance here, good save at the near post by Matt Ryan, and a real signal of intent early on here by the French. Now they're not going to be going lightly here. Ball down the left hand side, and Mbappe onto it like a flash. I think the goalkeeper would have had it covered. He went for the near post with his right foot, but Matt Ryan, as we've seen so often in the Premier League for Brighton this season, was very, very comfortable there with the save. I had the pleasure of seeing him at Turf Moor a few weeks ago as that ball comes into the penalty area. The corner comes in, and Jelinek just about gets it away for Australia, and that's going to be a throw-in. A throw-in on the just in line with the edge of the Australian penalty area on the near side, as Pogba plays that ball out once more. French now just building up with Titi getting it forward again, the Barcelona man, and again good defending again, good defensive work again by the Australian. Now Varane to pick it up for France. They so have the talent in this squad. They should have won Euro 2016 really. They played some really whiny stuff in the semi-final, of course, when Antoine Griezmann was just unstoppable against the Germans in the semi-finals, and it showed a signal of intent, but in the end it mattered not, because Portugal ended up winning the tournament. It was one of the most lacklustre finals I've ever seen, not just as a commentator but as a football fan. And France really didn't do themselves justice on that night in Paris. They've got a free kick here, and Mbappe's they've been taken out there by Lecky, number 7. Well, actually it might have been the number 5, in fact, Milligan. So Milligan has taken him out, and an opportunity here from just about 25, maybe 30 yards out, left of centre here. Matt Ryan, of course, the Brighton goalkeeper, building a wall and erecting a 3-man wall, or a 4-man wall it looks like now. The Argentinian referee trying to get the Uruguayan referee, I should say, trying to get the full 10 yards back. Matt Ryan making sure that everything is above board as regards the wall. The Uruguayan referee is happy that the 10 yards are there, and the vanishing spray comes out in force. Pogba and Griezmann are the 2-men committee here. Will it be the right foot of him? It looks as if it's going to be shaped up for either the left foot of Griezmann or the right foot of Pogba. Which one is it going to be? It's going to be Pogba over the wall with his right foot, and it's straight down the throat of Matt Ryan, who just patted the ball into the ground and then caught it at the second attempt. It's a good free kick actually, but as I say, it was down the goalkeeper's throat, and it was very easy for the goalkeeper Ryan to get the ball. As Aaron Moy plays a good ball over the top, but it's just too strong, and it's out for a throw-in on the far side near the corner quadrant of the French, and they have a chance now to clear. But this is a free kick from Pogba over the wall, but Ryan is too astute of a goalkeeper to be fooled by a free kick of that magnitude. It wasn't a particularly good free kick. It wasn't hit with too much power, and a goalkeeper of obviously Matt Ryan's quality wasn't going to be fooled by that, although we did say that about David De Gea, and look what happened last night. So nothing is nothing is gospel in this tournament so far, if the first few games are anything to go by. We've had a few unbelievable moments so far. Russia winning 5-0 was a great moment, and I had the pleasure of commentating on that one. And then obviously the 3-0 last night, and Iran winning of course last night. So many stories already, and the World Cup's not even 3 days old yet, and we're only into the third day. And now a chance now for the French again. They're breaking forward in numbers again, and it's Dembele now, the number 11, coming forward down the left-hand side. Pogba knocks it on. Griezmann will try a shot, right-footed! Oh, right-footed rather, and Matt Ryan down in the rain to his left. Fields the ball pretty well there in the end, but France really looking really strong in the opening exchanges here. We've been playing 5 minutes here in Kazan, and already France have forced a couple of shots on goal, and on target as well. And Griezmann certainly looks in the mood. Here's Pogba now in the midfield for France, touching it on, and now the ball comes forward again, and they're just absolutely laying into the Australians here. I think the Australians' tactics here will be just to try and soak up all this French pressure, because on paper France have the better team, but as Chris Whiteman said off air to me before we came on the air, because we do have a little discussion before we did come on, since when the games won on paper, and he's quite right of course. Here's Pogba. And of course Chris, in between presenting this one today, is prepping for the Argentinian Iceland game. Of course Iceland's first competitive tournament game since they were beaten by France, but and of course who can forget their marvellous win against England two years ago. And well, and we're going to see the old thunderclap for the first time in the tournament today, and what a spectacle that's going to be. That's a foul there, silly challenge there. And that's surely going to be another free kick to the French here. Riston going in pretty hard, although the French player there probably tried to calm the referee, and Anders probably went down a little too easily perhaps. Certainly for my liking. But nevertheless, it's a free kick, and Mbappe will take the free kick. The world's most expensive teenager is as well, and he's one of the youngest players ever to take part in the World Cup finals. And he's going to take the free kick on the left hand side, right footed. 2, 4, 5, 6 French players in the penalty area of Australia. Australia have brought more or less the whole team back, bar one I think. So when Mbappe runs up, strikes it in there, real quick header on by Griezmann, got a slight nick and a deflection, but Matt Ryan was not for moving of course. And of course, if you want to comment on the game, just keep your comments clean, because we are a family show, quite honestly a family show. And of course no swearing, because we're not even near the watershed. It's still very early in the morning, and we're still very much a morning programme at the moment. Who would have thought we'd be doing commentaries at 11 o'clock in the morning? It's in the UK it's now 11:09 and I'm usually in bed with a few cornflakes chilling out, but not today, because we are endeavouring to bring you all the best that is the 2018 World Cup here in Russia. And you're going to hear a 4-bomb here. This is the first one of the 4, the quadruple header if you like. France against Australia is the first one of course, and then Chris will be in the commentary box for the second game, Argentina against Iceland, where Burnley's Johan Berg Gudmundsson will make his tournament bow as a Burnley player for the first time, although he has played before in the colours. He played at Euro 2016 as a Charlton player just before he's moved to Burnley in fact. And of course we'll have Peru against Denmark, and then Croatia finishing the night off, and that will be Chris's game again. I will be doing the Peruvian game. And I've got a bit of interest in that because my fantasy football team at work, and I've got a works fantasy football team in my day job, and I've got Kasper Schmeichel in that team, so I'll be watching the Denmark game with plenty of relish as that ball comes over towards Griezmann and flick on to almost that found Dembele, but Matt Ryan was quickly off his goal line, fielded the ball magnificently well. Jelinek looked as if he was fouled there from behind by Dembele, and the Uruguayan referee agrees. I think it was a foul. Just caught the back of Jelinek's heels. I think the referee was correct. And a free kick to Australia midway inside their own half. And the free kick is floated over towards the far side, and Matt Leckie now flicks that, or heads that forward, and it's belted out of play. There's the coach, Bert van Marwijk. As I said, it's got Holland, he's got the Dutch to the final in 2010. It was a real blood and thunder, rough and tumble sort of final, which saw Nigel de Jong sent off in extra time in that match before Iniesta won it with 6 minutes of normal time to go in extra time in Johannesburg back in 2010, of course. And well, it's been a fast pace so far. Here's a chance now for the French to break forward once again. And of course they're missing Dimitri Payet, of course, who was a real talisman in the Euro 2016. He was injured, if you remember, in the Europa final when Marseille were soundly beaten by Griezmann's Atletico. That looked a shirt pull there. He had an armful there of the Australian player, and the referee was right on top of that. Silly foul to give away here, and on the Aussies have got a real opportunity here, and if they can strike a first goal here, wow, it sets the game up a treat. Now Aaron Moyes takes the set pieces, of course, and we've seen him take many a set piece for Huddersfield in their quest to stay in the Premier League this season, which was in the end very successful. They did it with a game to spare, of course, if you remember, at Chelsea in the penultimate game of the season. And Aaron Moyes scored some key goals and put in some key set pieces in that season. If you can put one in there for the likes of Jelinek and Leckie and one or two others, they have a real opportunity here. Going to be right-footed on the left-hand side, the far side as we look. Aaron Moyes with a free kick. Referee making sure that there's no jostling, pushing or shoving at all in that penalty area. And the ball is floated in, header one in fact inside the area, and it was by Leckie who got in there. And Leckie was certainly one of them that was right in there. And in the end it went behind for a goal kick in fact. And no damage was done to the French at all in that one at all. But on paper they do have one of the best teams in the tournament, up there with the likes of Brazil, Argentina and Germany, of course. And Argentina make their bow, Brazil make their bow tomorrow, and that's going to be live on the JB Claret channel as well. So they play Switzerland, of course. And a foul there on Hernandez by Leckie, and he receives the first yellow card of the contest after 12.5 minutes. And he's absolutely incensed by the decision. I must admit, I was watching the path of the ball when the foul was committed. Let's have a look. Yes, no doubt about it. I don't think Leckie's got any cause for complaints. He's gone in there. He's certainly taken the man. He's certainly taken Hernandez out. And that's definitely a free kick in my opinion. So a free kick just to the left of the penalty area. About 30 yards from goal. Matt Ryan has had a couple of things to do in the opening 13 minutes. He's got to face another opportunity here. It's going to be floated in by the left foot of Antoine Griezmann. He's a real class act, and we saw that in the Europa final as that ball was played in and nodded behind for a corner. Aaron Moyes got back there in the 6-yard area to nod it over the top. And now we've got a situation here that the French need to exploit the Australian defence. Dembele to take the corner from the left-hand side. 2-4-5 French in the wars. That corner in the penalty areas. That corner came in, and the header back, of course, didn't come off in the end for the French. And of course, during our coverage this afternoon, we'll keep a check on the happenings at the England camp, of course, as they prepare their first match, of course, in the tournament, and that's against Tunisia, and that's a game you can hear live on the YouTube channel on Monday night. Join me at 6:45 on Monday night You'll hear full match commentary live against Tunisia. So that's England against Tunisia live, of course, on the YouTube channel. There's a chance here for the French there as the ball was threaded through. I think it was in back through the middle, and in the end Matt Ryan was quickly off his goal line again. Still 0-0 here. And here's Sainsbury now, number 20 for the French. For the Australians rather. It's not easy commentating in the morning. I'm still waking up. I've had a couple of coffees and a bowl of cornflakes before I came on the air. And the cornflakes are okay. The Russian cornflakes are okay, by the way. Anyway, 0-0 in Kazan between France and Australia. We've had just a quarter of an hour exactly now. The Australians have soaked up a bit of pressure, and it actually has gone a little bit slower this 15 minutes that we've been playing thus far. But so far so good as far as the Australians are concerned. That the clean sheet is still intact. They've had a couple of sighted, they've had a couple of set piece opportunities that have not really threatened Hugo Lloris too much, but it's been that sort of a first half really, where it's just ebbed and flowed as far as the French is concerned. As a long ball forward up towards the number 7 Matt Leckie. Of course, here can we get Australia. They had a great match 4 years ago, of course. I think it may have been against the Dutch. Yeah, it was against the Dutch. It was a 3-2 win for the Dutch, but my goodness, the Australians didn't give them a scare that night. And they've just come back, and it was a fresh of a 5-1 demolition job of Spain, if you remember. Meanwhile, Australia have got a free kick and a couple of fouls there. And well, the Australians are claiming that they should have a French player in the book. This is the foul again. Really was a silly tackle. And now a real opportunity for Aaron Mooy to put the ball into that danger zone once again. And Hugo Lloris will be a little bit anxious now, because Mooy's got that, as I said earlier, it's from exactly the same position as his last floater 3 kick was. And he'll try and bend that in with his left foot. So Mooy runs up, strikes it left footed into the penalty area. Free chance now inside the area, and Hugo Lloris from virtually point blank range makes the save right on the line, and Australia will win in an ace of going one up there. And in fact, it may have come off a defender. In fact, indeed it did. Wow, that would have been a turn up, an own goal almost. It's a corner. Well, it was the French number 12 there that touched it on, and in the end it transpired that Hugo Lloris was alert enough. That free kick from Mooy was brilliant. Now he's got a right-footed right-hand corner to deliver again. He's going to go right-footed this time. Into the area it goes, up towards Jelinek that time. Headed forward again, back into the dangerous area by Sainsbury, but there's a foul there. And a free kick given by the Uruguayan referee. Well, a very lucky man indeed. And the number 12, I think it was, well, here it is again. It's Tolinho who's unwittingly knocking it back towards his own goal. And, oh, the Australians there nearly had something to say, but they're a very competitive sporting nation, the Australians, whether it's cricket, rugby union, or even soccer. Although they're not famous for soccer, they're famous more for cricket and Aussie rules than they are for soccer, as they call it in that country. Here's Matt Leckie, back to Aaron Mooy. Mooy now just controls it. Again, good football again from the Australians. And here's Leckie again, but well, that looked like that looked a very harsh decision against Leckie. I have to say, Jelinek making the point of the referee. I thought Titi slipped over there for me, and I've got a subscriber said, boring, show us the game. Well, if you want to watch it somewhere else. I can't show the game because it's FIFA, because FIFA will take the video down and my channel will be taken off as a result. So I would suggest you go and watch the game somewhere else if you don't like it. Okay. Thank you for your comment though. It is at least it stays within the boundaries. But if you want to watch the game, find somewhere else to watch it, because we're not permitted to show any footage because FIFA will take it off us. It's a live audio commentary. Surely you've got to favour that. Meanwhile, back in the game, there's another foul here. The Australians here are incensed by a couple of the Uruguayan referees' decisions. Jelinek absolutely pleading the case. Well, nothing in it for me. And as for your comments, give me somewhere else to watch it. You can find it yourself. I'm busy. As Casual Chris makes the point, copyright reasons would prevent from doing footage, because FIFA are really strict on game action being shown here, and it would strike my channel in good standing. That's why we do audio commentaries rather than televisual commentaries. And to you too, Mohamed Ibrahim. Anyway, enough about him. Back with the game, and you will be. And if you say anything derogatory, we have 3 or 4 moderators on that will be more than happy to take you off the system, and I'll be more than happy to do that myself at half time when Chris takes over for the half time interval. Anyway, let's get back to the game. 20 minutes gone. It's always a shame when someone has to try and spoil it for the rest of us. Here's Aaron Moy now for the Australians, now over to the far side, and still 0-0. If people want to criticise me or Chris for the commentary, that's their decision, but people know the situation as far as copyright is concerned, and if they don't like it, that's their tough luck. Australia have it on the far side, and this is Aaron Moy. Moy will find Jelinek, and he plays it out to the right hand side. Good football again by the Australians. Oh, and they almost got in each other's way. Then Sainsbury and I think it was Jelinek that got in each other's way, but the ball found kindly to Moy, and now has it now just 10 yards inside his own half at the moment, halfway through the first half. And Casual Chris saying, well, that's my first ban of the day. Shame. Well, thank you for saving me time anyway, Chris. I can then chill out at half time, unless we get more idiots like him. I think my half time is well, if you don't like it, go and buzz off. That's all I'll say. There are a lot of people. That do like us, and it's well, a chance here now for Dembele. Oh, he was taken out there. Surely, he was taken out. We're halfway through the first half. No, he's not. The Uruguayan officials said no foul. Well, did he run into him? No. That's the important thing. Well, Didier Deschamps think that should have been a 3 kick, and the Uruguayan referee didn't agree. Well, I'll tell you what, Mohamed Ibrahim, go and watch some cricket, because that's more a national sport than football. Let's be fair. We don't need your sort on this channel trying to spoil it for the rest of us. We had all that problem in the FA Cup final, of course. As a long ball is threaded over the top. Still 0-0 here. And what a good bit of play that was. And Leckie has been penalised once again. Well, the referee is certainly, well, if he's earning his money's worth, he's having to earn it the hard way today, the Uruguayan officials. Still 0-0 here in Kazan, and it is audio commentary, and if people don't like the idea of it, then that's their problem, not mine. I'm providing a source for everyone to listen to, and if they like to listen to it, then brilliant. And you can watch it and listen to me at the same time if you don't like the BBC commentary. That's entirely your bag if you prefer BBC to mine. But a lot of people enjoy listening to me and Chris, because we are giving up our time and our resources to do this. And if people aren't going to respect us for that, then that's their hard lines. Meanwhile, back with the game, and it's Dembele going forward, and the header back, and easy there for the goalkeeper. And Humphrey said it's called commentary for a reason. Well said, my friend. And nice to have you with us. And Chris is funding being a presenter. Well, there's a reason why I have 3 or 4 moderators as well as myself. as the ball is chipped in towards the penalty area. Griezmann is in the centre, and the ball forward, up forward, then almost led to a chance for Griezmann. It was a ball from the right hand side, and Australia getting away. A long ball forward by Sainsbury, headed back again with interest. And now Kante, the former Leicester City and now Chelsea player, has been lined up for a move, in fact, in the summer for Paris Saint-Germain. And Tozo has been fouled there, the number 12. It was Rogic who came in there. I have to say that's a bit of a soft free kick. The Australians are being a little bit unlucky with one or two of the refereeing decisions in the opening 25 minutes that we've almost been going for now. I think the Uruguayan official has to get a fair grip on the game, I think, in terms of fair decisions here, because he's made one or two, shall we say, questionable decisions so far in this World Cup game. Still 0-0 here in the group phase between France and Australia, and the ball knocked back there towards Mbappe, and a good turn there. Oh, and I thought for a moment Mbappe there, he showed some great skills, but then he lost it, and now a chance here for the Australians to break out. But the ball is out for a French throw, although Mabou would, well, I think for a second was arguing that it should have been an Australian throw-in. But just seeing a replay of Mbappe there, and Sainsbury did really well there right at the last to sweep the ball away from Mbappe at the last second. Otherwise I think Mbappe might have been through there for number 1 there for the French. Hernandez knocks it forward to Pogba back to Ntiti. Now Varane, or Kante rather. Varane gets it forward, a long ball forward. Chance here for Mbappe to chase. And again Sainsbury doing well, shepherding the ball out for a goal kick. And the Australians tactically are getting it right, and that's a credit to their coach Bert van Marwijk, because on paper they are going to be second raters compared to, with all due respect to them, they're going to be second raters and underdogs compared to the French here this afternoon. Or this morning I should say. I think it's afternoon over in Russia, but in local time, but back in the UK it's still morning. And it's now coming up towards 11:30 in the UK. If you're listening in the UK, everywhere else I'm sure you'll be all around the world. Tell me what time of day it is, and we'll tell it to suit your needs. As the header is won by Jelinek in the centre circle, just inside the French half. Down the ball down the right hand side, and the referee giving a free kick. He's given a lot of free kicks here to the referee so far in this game. It's Pogba on Leckie. That's another debatable one, but it's a free kick to Australia on the right hand side, just the right hand side of the penalty area, but about 30 yards from goal. So obviously not, the angle isn't there for the shot, but it's certainly there for the cross. Varane and then City will have to be on their guard here. And Jelinek, the big captain, forward from the back. French will have to watch the offside as well. They're trying to play a high line. There's a bit of pushing and shoving going on there, involving Samuel Ntiti, the Barcelona man. That Frenchman doesn't look a 14 yards back as that ball's swept in and well taken inside the penalty area. There's a little bit of a crowd scene there, and Hugo Ruiz having to stretch like Stretch Armstrong to take the ball and pluck it out the air, and he did absolutely superbly well. Great piece of goalkeeping, of course, and so far so good so far. And 0-0 it is between France and Australia here in the 2018 FIFA World Cup in Russia. And already, look at that now, and a World Cup would not be the same, as I said the other day, without a Mexican wave. Fantastic. It's good to see the Mexican wave in full swing as we go forward again, as France go forward down the left hand side. But again, good tackle there by Sainsbury, who's positioned himself really well. And in fact the ball has gone out of play. I don't know what's happened there. Was there an injury of some sort? They seem to trod on the ball. I think the referee's giving a, I don't know what he's giving here. Is he giving a throw-in? I don't know whether there was an injury. I didn't see anything untoward there. It's a strange one to me. Going towards half an hour. And this is the first of 4 live matches, of course, to come in this FIFA World Cup today. In fact, the ball had a puncher. That's why it was put out of play. And Chris, my presenter for this first match, putting me well and truly in the picture. You'll hear from him, of course, at half time and at full time. And our broadcast is due to finish at just about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and then we'll be back on the air at around 10 to 2 for the second of our matches. And that looked like a free kick to me. And the referee for Australia, but the referee playing on. Oh, to say he's given a lot of free kicks, he didn't give a more obvious one there than that. And now here come the French coming forward now. Over to the far side. Oh, lovely skill. Over on the far side, can he get the cross in? Good football again. Pogba was waiting on the D. And again, good blanket Australian defence. The yellow shirted Socceroos doing well, but now Pogba chipping it in there. Griezmann first touch was a little heavy, and he allowed Sainsbury to get back there and stop him going any further. It's out for a French throw, nearly level with the Australian penalty area. Hernandez takes the throw to Pogba. Pogba turns and pirouettes. Shows some great control there again. Pirouettes a second time. Gets the ball across now, and a chance now for the French to come forward again. We've had half an hour. France 0, Australia 0 in the opening round of the World Cup. Of course, the group phase is 3 matches. Just to show you of the format, 3 matches each. The top 2 qualify for the last 16, and then it's straight knockout from now on, from then on into the final. Still, here's N'Golo Kante, who's had a remarkable rise in 2 years. He was a virtual unknown in 2015 when he signed for Leicester. Played a key part in their title-winning success of 2016. Went to Chelsea and he's shown that same consistency. He's won another Premier League as well as the FA Cup last season, or the season just gone actually. And of course, just to remind you that the fixtures came out of course on Monday, and from a Burnley's perspective, Burnley play Southampton on the opening day, and Watford of course, as the Clarets match will return in fact in July, when we'll be covering hopefully some of the European stuff that we've got lined up as well. So the Clarets match will be turning a little bit shorter, a little bit earlier than usual next season. Next month we'll be returning, and of course we'll be covering the Premier League in great detail of course on the Clarets match live, and of course Premier League action as well, FA Cup, League Cup, Champions League. We'll have it all covered next season on the JB Claret YouTube channel, plus LTF and things like that, and it's all going to be coming your way next year. As for this game, Talisio plays the ball out towards the far side, on the right hand side. Talisio gets the ball back once again, still 0-0. Pogba, little dummy there towards Dembele. Dembele now, a chance here now on the far side for Hernandez, plays the ball into the area, and in the end the defender got back there just in the nick of time to save Australia, because it was a real punishing ball into the penalty area by Hernandez. And another ball's gone by the wayside. That's popped as well. So we're waiting for another ball to come onto the field here. This is the cross by Hernandez, and yeah, good defending. Dembele to take the corner. It's going to be long because there's no one going for the short one. Right footed into the penalty area. It's too close to the goalkeeper. Under no great pressure. Had a good few yards between him or any other player. And in the end, Matt Ryan, with the most easiest of catches, did very, very well there for the Australians. We're inside the last quarter of an hour of the first half here in Kazan. And so far, we haven't seen a goal yet in this game. Anyway, it doesn't mean to say that we won't get one. Surely there's got to be goals in this game. We saw 5 on the opening day. We saw a total of 8 yesterday. 1-0 wins for Uruguay and Iran, and a 3-3 draw with Spain and Portugal, where Ronaldo really set the tournament alight with that stunning free kick to complete his hat-trick. First of this World Cup tournament, of course. He's now the top scorer with 3 goals in the tournament. As Kante now comes forward over Leicester man. Here he is now. Kante now has the ball. Plays it to Tite, the Barcelona man. Now Hernandez. Back in field to Pogba. Pogba back to Kante. Kante now doing well. Moving the ball around at good pace now. Griezmann with a little flick round the corner. Almost got Dembele in. And Mbappe wins it now for France. It's good football again by the French. They're looking very ominous in the moment. Tolisso has the ball now for the French. And again they're just playing it down the right hand side. They're looking for space here. But this blanket Australian defence not giving them a sniff at the moment, as we're now inside the last 10 minutes of the first half. Plus stoppage time. Hernandez might get there, but again the Australians, wonderful defender. A cool header back to Matt Ryan. And that's been the story of the match. Real frustration really for the French so far in this tournament. Yet to have a 0-0. We've been playing again the tournament now 4 matches old. This is the 5th match of the tournament. And Moy wasn't on the same wavelength then, and here's a chance now for Mbappe. But again Moy got back, and that was good play. Good recovery. Good recovery from the Australians, because they lost the ball really cheaply there, and Aaron Moy got the ball cleanly. What a good tackle that was from Aaron Moy of Huddersfield Town. Really good defending it was, and he did remarkably well. Still 0-0 here as Varane plays it out to the far side. The French still looking for that opening goal of the tournament for them. Australia have come close for an opportunity that almost turned into an own goal from an Aaron Moy set piece. So they've come close as well. In fact, if you totted the chances up and how good the chances were, you'd say the Australians had the best one of the lot. Here's Mbappe now edging the area, but the referee has gone for an infringement inside the Australian penalty area, and a free kick it is to Australia. Well, so far, in fact, it was a foul here by Griezmann on Sainsbury. A bit of pushing and shoving. And the World Cup wouldn't be complete without good shots of pretty young girls in the crowd. 21, 23-year-old ladies who look absolutely beautiful, fit for a palace. And there's a lovely French lady there with the French flags on both her cheeks. And you see all these women that really do take these World Cup tournaments seriously. They really do have that. So it wouldn't be the same, the World Cup, without shots of the females in the crowd. Here Sainsbury now picking it up inside his own half for the Australians. Now Leckie has it and feeds Aaron Moy. Still no score here in Kazan. A sunny afternoon, 19 degrees the temperature in Celsius. That's the high 50s Fahrenheit. And of course the humidity is at 32%, which makes conditions a little bit tougher, certainly for the French rather than the Australians. They're used to playing in very high heats, Australia, because it's, of course it's a high temperature country, certainly during summer, which of course is our winter, of course. Summer takes place between November and February. That's why you see Australian cricket played at that time of the year. Of course the Aussie World season over there in Australia will be well and truly now in full swing. And the rugby season, of course, because it's their winter, of course, in of course down under. Those temperatures even in the winter time could be quite high as well, I believe. Meanwhile, Mabuti's gone right into the back of one of the French players there, and it's Hernandez who's rolling around in agony here. And the referee having words with Matt Leckie, who must watch his lip, because if he says anything out of turn to this official, this referee, I think he might get the red one. Oh, totally took him out. I'm surprised that the referee hasn't taken strong action there, because I tell you what, in a Premier League game that would have been at least a yellow, if not a red. And I've seen red cards for less than that. No wonder Didier Deschamps looks livid. Still 0-0. I don't think the Uruguayan referees refereed it with any real conviction in this first half. Although when we hear Chris Waltz at half time, I'm sure he'll have his own view of things. But I have to say, I don't think the Uruguayan referees lived up to any standard. I think he's been worse than some of the English refs. And the way he's been stop-starting the game, it hasn't helped the flow. I like to see a World Cup game with a genuine chance to flow. And I have to say, the referee in the game last night was a real believer in that. Even if he gave 1 or 2 dodgy decisions, he still gave the game every chance to flow. And I respect a referee that tries to do that. There's been too many free kicks given, or trying to play for free kicks for my liking, and he's not made the flow of the game any good at all. But to be fair to the Australians, they've dug in deep and arguably have created the best chance of the game. So you've got to give them a bit of credit and a little bit of respect as Moy plays it back to his goalkeeper Ryan. Plays, of course, for Brighton and Hove Albion. This is Sainsbury, not the supermarket, but a different Sainsbury. 0-0. And it's been pretty good. And of course, you have the opportunity as Emma to vote for a new feature this year for all our live games, the JB World Cup Man of the Match. And for all our live World Cup games this summer, you have that opportunity. And the voting will start at around the 60th minute mark in each game that we cover live. So we've got 4 awards up for grabs this afternoon in all our 4 matches. And from the 60th minute onwards, you, the listener, will have a chance to vote in the comment section, the live comment section to the left, the right of the screen. And you'll have that opportunity now as we're inside the last 4 minutes of the first half. Still goalless here in Kazan between France and Australia. But Australia have come close. It was almost an own goal by Tolisso that put the ball through his own net. This is Hernandez now down the left hand side. Hernandez up against Lecky, who's on a yellow card, of course. Infield, of course, to Tolisso, number 12. Plays it towards Griezmann. Griezmann looked as if he was taken out there. The referee wasn't interested. I don't think it was a bad challenge, I have to say. We're coming up towards the latter stages of the first half here in Kazan, and the ball played back again, and front forward without conviction. And I have to say, the Australians have fought and fought in this first 45 minutes. It's down to stamina now in the second half. Will they have the stamina? Because the French have certainly got the quality to punish any team that's low on stamina, and that's going to be the crucial factor here. So still 0-0 here, and we've had it all except a goal. Free kicks, ball punches, we've had the lot, but again, we've had 1 or 2 controversial moments from our Uruguayan official, who really hasn't stepped up to the plate yet in terms of looking after the game, as Kante tries to go forward on the right hand side, but he can't get forward. Oh, it was stopped, Bravo there, as in Titi gets it back to Lloris, who saved really from his own man. Was a crucial moment in the game, because if that goes in, Australia then have a foothold and have a goal to protect. And if that goes in, that changes the whole mindset of the game. This is Griezmann, this is Hernandez rather on the far side. Now Tolisso, who really put through his own net. Kante forward, just to the right of the centre circle. Back in field again to Pogba. 20 yards from goal. But not chipping out towards Griezmann. Griezmann almost getting on the end of it. And Sainsbury with another important intervention, getting it away for the Australians. He's had a good first half, the number 20 for Australia. I've been really impressed with Sainsbury. He's been really superb. Then across, stabbed in with the outside of the foot. Hooked away once more. My word. That's great defending from Sainsbury. He's done absolutely superb there, because if he doesn't get anything on that ball, Griezmann has practically got a tap in and a 3 shot at Matt Ryan. So what a goal saving challenge that was. I've been really impressed with Sainsbury. He's certainly up there in the vote, in my opinion, for man of the match so far. We've been playing 43 minutes. We're inside the last 90 seconds of normal time, and well, I have to say, the Australian defenders, the 2 centre-backs, have had a superb game, in particular Sainsbury. Here comes the French down the right-hand side, and here's a chance now for Dembele. Gets the ball in, and again, this time too close to Matt Ryan. Griezmann wasn't really offering too much support inside the area, and he would have had to have worked a miracle to have got it to Antoine Griezmann, who holds his hand up and apologises. But I'll tell you what, Bert Van Marwijk, the two managers will feel a lot of the happier of the two, because let's face it, on paper Australia were the underdogs and second raters, but been far from it in the first half. They've really dug in deep and arguably could be winning this game. Because the French at the moment have not really offered too much apart from the first 10 minutes. Having said that though, it's not for the first time now that Sainsbury's had to make 1 or 2 interceptions inside his area, and he's done it terrifically well. And here come the Aussies now. Real chance now, left hand side, ball into the area, chance here for Leckie inside the area, almost came to it, shot comes in, back in and over the top. Oh, the Australians almost finishing the first half with a real flourish there. They had a good break down the left hand side. Matt Leckie was so close, and then the left footed shot over the bar, well, just wide in fact. Well, it almost came right for the Australians, nearly enough in the end, and all the Socceroos, the supporters of the Socceroos thought it was in. We're into stoppage time in Kazan. Wow, what a first half it has been. We're going to have 1 additional minute. I'm just looking at the big screen, and it's 1 minute of added on time. What a first half. And Chris Whiteman will be preparing as well for his game this afternoon, and as well as presenting this. And well, it'll be interesting to hear his thoughts in about 20 seconds from now. Ball intercepted again by Leckie. He's walked a really disciplined tightrope. He got a harsh booking in my opinion, but he has said some things out of turn. We're now inside the last 10 seconds of stoppage time. It's taken the television people to actually realise that. We've played the 1 minute. The Uruguayan officials have checked his watch, and there goes the whistle. Wow! We almost had a sensation at the end of the first half. Australia almost in the lead. They came very close when Hugo Lloris was required to make a save from Tolisso, his own player, putting through his own net. And Australia really have created the best of the opportunities. France, apart from a couple of flurries, haven't really troubled the scorers as much. And well, it is a turn up here. Australia arguably should be in front, and Sainsbury for me has made some goal saving tackles that have kept Australia right in it and have been superb defensively. In fact, Chris is going to be away for a few moments, so I'm going to have to take over the scene at half time for a second or two. In fact, I'm going to have a couple of minutes break after that, because obviously there's been so much to talk about there in that first half, and I have to tell you that it has been an amazing first half. But well, I'm going to take a couple of minutes break, then come back, because I do need to lubricate the throat a little bit. But I'll be back in a couple of seconds with the scoreline here, 0-0 between France and Australia. I'll be back with a little bit of an assessment of the first half, and then Chris will take over for a couple of minutes when we come back.
Right, so that was an interesting first half, to say the least. Still 0-0, obviously. Australia arguably had the best chance of the game when Hugo Lloris was forced to save from his own player, but that's how it goes sometimes. But, in terms of the game itself, it's not really gone to plan for France. Certainly Australia will be the happier of the two sides to be going in at 0-0, but that front three hasn't really done much. In terms of the stats, well, possession 55-45 in favour of France. Shots 5-4, so fairly even. However, the shots on target, France have hit 4 on target. Australia haven't hit the target as of yet, so they will need to improve that. And there's been a lot of fouls. There's been 16 in total, 10 for Australia, 6 for France. But nobody's really stood out as such. I mean, you would probably say that the Australian defence has been on top, because France have certainly had more of the ball. But they've done really well to shut down that incredible front three of Dembele, Griezmann and Mbappe. It's certainly been a interesting first half. Whether Australia are going to sit back and hold for the draw, or whether they're going to try and change something in the second half to get them more competitive in terms of goal scoring opportunities or not, we shall see. But as things stands, it's standing to be a good result for Australia, at least. Obviously Peru and Denmark, the other two teams, play a little bit later on today, which John will be covering himself. So John's covering Group C, I'm covering Group D. The next game today will be not Australia, will be Argentina and Iceland. I get the wonderful privilege of covering Messi after covering Ronaldo. Got the lucky draw in that sense, thanks to John being so nice with his match selection choice. But today is the day of Group C and Group D. So the other three games today, obviously, in order of kick-off time. So Argentina-Iceland follows this game at 2 o'clock British Standard Time. Then that is followed by Peru-Denmark, which will be covered by John at 5 o'clock. And then at 8 o'clock, Croatia kick-off against Nigeria. So it'll be the second time I actually cover Nigeria, because I covered them when they played England towards the back end of last month, which England won that game quite comfortably. There's a lot of talk about Australia with their set pieces. They haven't quite done as well as they'd hoped, although that is probably their strong suit. And they're just talking about their opportunity earlier on, which forced Lloris into the save, the big moment of the match, I suppose. It came off a France player. Lloris had to react quickly, diving to his bottom left. And Lloris is a world-class keeper, but that doesn't prove much, let's face it, because David De Gea is arguably the best goalkeeper on the planet, and he made a mistake last night. So Lloris was alert and awake to it, and managed to get something off there. That's Australia. I think they certainly came into the game with the idea that they were going to have to defend, but France haven't really created any major opportunities as such, so it will certainly bring confidence to Australia, and it's just going to, France are going to get more desperate and feel the pressure a bit more as the game goes on, and Australia are just going to get more and more comfortable. So in terms of what's gone on today so far, Australia, their game plan is going well. It's no real standout for man of the match so far, but hopefully in the second half we will see that bit of magic, or maybe a mistake that separates the two sides. In terms of the group, this match is certainly going very much in favour of Peru and Denmark, because if this finishes 0-0, one of those two will be sitting there going, well, we can top the group. And then, if you get a result in the second game after winning the first, you're pretty much guaranteed to go through. But as I said, if you ask which team would be happy with the draw at the start of the game, Australia certainly would be happy with it. But as the analysis going around, Australia are certainly hunting down the ball in packs. They're closing down the space very quickly, especially on France's star players. Although it doesn't really matter where you look, France have a star everywhere, more or less. It's certainly, the game plan is working for Australia, and they're only going to go growing confidence because of it. Let's have a look at what's going on in terms of social media. There's a lot of talk about what's going on. It's Jay Buckley, also known as the Master Bucks on YouTube, has tweeted, "We aren't just parking the bus or anything, we are legitimately hanging and even at times watching the French march towards us." It's sorry, we aren't just parking the bus or anything, we're legitimately hanging in and even at times matching the French. It's extraordinary to see. It'd be great. Yeah, I've got to agree with that. They are standing toe-to-toe with the French. There's certainly been a lot of free kicks given that are unwarranted. This referee, he hasn't really covered himself in glory, but it's been a difficult game, to be honest. Every refereeing decision is going to be criticised, but it's tough to be a referee at World Cup. Let's talk about the other games that have happened in the tournament thus far. I'd like to talk about the one, we spoke about. I covered obviously the Portugal-Spain match last night, but we'll forget about the other game in that group, because that group, as it stands, is currently being topped by Iran. Of all teams, you wouldn't have predicted that early on, but Iran currently top Group B, as they got a late victory against Morocco. So Iran currently ahead of both Spain and Portugal in Group B in dramatic fashion as well. They scored a last-minute goal it was a last-minute own goal as well, I think, which gave Iran only their second ever victory in a World Cup. So it's incredible scenes. And then obviously Uruguay won their match as well. They're in the same group as Russia. So it's been an eventful first 3 days. But hopefully we will see some more going on in this match, because so far it's not been a snore fest, but we've had everything but a goal, and we could certainly use a goal to liven things up. As we've probably got another couple of minutes before the second half starts, provided everyone's on time. It's been a good contest, to say the least. Obviously Australia have a few interesting substitutes that they could bring on in the second half. Tim Cahill, as we mentioned earlier, if he gets himself a goal today, would join the elite club of scoring in 4 World Cups. Obviously joining the likes of Pele, Klose, I can't remember who the other German was. It's, obviously Ronaldo joined that elite group last night, and Tim Cahill certainly wouldn't look out of place in amongst those players. But you've also got on the bench for France possible game changers. You've got Giroud, who has sort of built a reputation in England as being a super sub, so he could come on and make a difference. You've also got players like Matuidi, Lemar of Monaco, Steven Nzonzi could come on, or Fekir. France certainly have a lot more game change on the bench than Australia do, so it wouldn't surprise me if things remain 0-0 for a while, for the first sort of 10 minutes before substitutions start being made, because let's face it, France, they put a lot of pressure on themselves if they don't get a result here today, because you're then essentially looking at having to win the next 2 games. Although Peru and Denmark should be fairly straightforward for them, but it's been difficult. All the groups are difficult, because if you don't get a result in the first game, it puts a lot of pressure on you. As we just seeing a few more things from social media. Landon Donovan last night was tweeting about how he had more goals than Ronaldo in World Cups, and then he went and scored a hat-trick. So that lasted a long time. 2 hours ago I had more career World Cup goals than Ronaldo, clearly making me the better player. Then he scored a hat-trick, as you do. David De Gea tweeted last night, to learn to succeed you have to first learn to fail. We continue. We'll see. David De Gea made a big mistake last night, which led to a goal. As a goalkeeper, you can't really make mistakes, because they generally end up in goals, but David De Gea certainly been able to pick himself up, I'm sure, and it's best to get your mistakes out of the way early, I suppose, and doing it in the group stage where you can actually recover is certainly the better place to do it. Better not doing it in the knockout phases where it can lead to you being eliminated. But as we mentioned, later on today, so you've got at 2 o'clock, you've got Argentina against Iceland, which I will be covering as the lead commentator, followed by Peru, Denmark, and then in the evening at 8 o'clock, you've got Croatia against Nigeria. But other than that, today, so far today, it's not really much to write home about. The only real major moment was Lloris making that save to deny a deflected cross that came off a French player, which nearly led to a goal, but Lloris was equal to it with his lightning reactions, saving to his bottom left, pretty much as far into the corner as you could get. If it was any further, it would have hit the post, so it is a cracking save. But Lloris, with his size and positioning, certainly helped him out there. Now, we are surely moments away from the second half kicking off. Just waiting for things to be put into position. I'm hoping that JB is going to be back, because any second now it's going to be all action stations again. Another blank French first half. France have now failed to score a goal in the first half of each of their last 4 World Cup games. Not a statistic you want to have, really, but there you go. Obviously, France have 1 World Cup to their name. Should have had 2, arguably, in 2006 if it wasn't for that famous Zidane moment. But they've certainly, since the turn of the millennium, obviously they won the World Cup in 1998. They've been a very good nation in terms of footballing talent. The only real blemish to them was I can't remember whether it was the 2010 or the 2014 World Cup, but they had major disagreements in the dressing room and didn't get out of the group stage. But obviously, the names like Nicolas Anelka and everything all walked out in protest. It wasn't. Other than that, they've been a very, very good footballing nation. As the teams are coming out for the second half now, as Hugo Lloris is leading out the side for France. Hugo Lloris has actually played every minute of the 2010 and 2014 World Cups. But I'm going to hand you back over to John Stuttard as the teams are returning to the pitch, and they are ready to go. Hopefully there'll be more goals in the second half and a bit of excitement for John to commentate on. But I'll hand you back over to John Stuttard now, as we are about to get back underway for the second half of France versus Australia.
Well, thank you, Chris. You also failed to, the person that he failed to mention as well in the list of scoring in 4 World Cups in a row was Uwe Seeler of Germany, of course. His last World Cup, of course, was back in 1970. Well, interesting at the start of the first half, really. The other game, of course, I'll be covering later on is the Peru-Denmark game. They're the other 2 teams in this group. And, well, we saw in the first half really how dogged the Australians were, and they hung on in there, as the Master Book said. As Chris mentioned, that the Master Books, of course, who's a famous YouTuber, he's a big Newcastle fan, as it happens. He was saying that as the second half comes underway, incidentally, there's no further changes incidentally at half time, but at the moment it's been Bottage, Bon, Pap as far as the French were concerned. To quote a Del Boy phrase from Only Fools and Horses, I don't think Del Boy, who spoke very, shall we say, very dodgy French in the programme, I don't think he'd be impressed with the way the French would have been performing in the first half. It was more Zunat Pap than Zunat play, shall we say. But there's still 45 minutes to go here in Kazan, and we're back with you with the second half as both teams are unchanged, as the ball is chipped in there towards the penalty area by Tarosso, and again Sainsbury not for the first time in there very well, and Tarosso there was a little bit hard there on his man. There's some of the substitutes for France, and there's quite a lot of game changes that could come on there. Chris mentioned Lamar and 1 or 2 others. No Dimitri Payet because of his injury that he picked up in the Europa final some 3 or 4 weeks ago. Just to confirm the Australian lineup: Ryan, Risdon, Milligan, Bennick and Sainsbury, Moy, Rogic and Jelinek, and Cruz, Leckie and Nabaut are the men further forward. And of course the French will be so changed, and they've got that 3 up front, and Mbappe, Griezmann, and of course Dembele. Can't think of his name then. Anyway, back to the game now in the second half. France are second the goal to our left, to our right rather, and they win another throw in on the left hand side, and Mbappe will take it. He's the youngest player ever to compete in the World Cup, and Hugo Lloris, another statistic for you. He's making his 99th appearance for the French here this afternoon, as we're now into the afternoon. bang goes the morning, and here we go again. Tarosso, who nearly put through his own goal in the first half. Rabal now. Oh, Pavard, number 2. Pavard touches it back again. Good football again. And N'Golo Kante getting now for the French. Good football again. Building up well, but the Australians again have got numbers back. This is Pogba now towards the far side. And a chance for Hernandez to get the cross in, and back was waiting as well. So too was Tarosso again. But again, good defending again by the Australians. And in fact, they win a free kick midway inside their own half, and a little bit of respite at the start of the game, the start of the second half, of course. It's Olivier Giroud as well to come off from the bench. I will run through the 2 benches for you when we get a break in play, because we haven't had a chance to do it so far. But I think I ought to do it now, actually, whilst we got the opportunity. There's an Australian free kick, but we'll break off is there anything. So on the bench for France, you got Kimpembe, Lamar, Giroud, Matuidi, Nzonzi, Mandanda the keeper, Rami, Fekir nearly went to Liverpool, Sidibe, Thauvin, the former Newcastle man, Mendy and Arloa. That's the French side. So that's the French side for you. We'll try and get the Australian bench. There are 1 or 2 familiar names involved in that one as well, as we get back with the game. And you're missing nothing. There's a Frenchman gone down there. It's Hernandez, and Lecky again involved. I think that's purely accidental. It wasn't what you call an elbow, but it was a bit of a hefty challenge by the Australian. But I don't think it's worthy of any punishment at all. Didier Deschamps is the coach, of course, of the French. And we're looking at. Well, I mean, we were looking there at the French side. I have to say that the Australians, as far as blanket defence has been concerned, they've been really well. Absolutely, Anonis has been on, and he says Griezmann, Mbappe and Dembele are very similar skillful players. Maybe it's a time to help link up play, and maybe Giroud could be just the man to provide that, because I think there's a real opportunity there for him to really go forward and try and do something really spectacular there. But at the moment here it's 0-0, and so far it's been a day of frustration for France, and I actually thought that this was going to be a really good game of football, but you have to give credit to the Australians as they were going forward, and then the ball was touched back to Hugo Lloris. It's still 0-0 here in Kazan. This is Umtiti now for the French. Infield to N'Golo Kante, who's not really put his stamp on the game like he usually does for Chelsea in a lot of respects. Now then, a chance for Dembele to run down the right hand side, cuts inside, and he's got Hernandez way on the left, and he can't find him, and it's out of play for a goal kick. Oh dear. A little bit of respite there for Matt Ryan. Some of the French substitutes warming up there. It's a good break again, and really was a great opportunity that was wasted there for the French. Typical, I think Greece gets the best game of the tournament, and so far I'm afraid I'm not getting a really good game in terms of entertainment, but there's still another game for me to commentate on, and that's Peru against Denmark. The other game in that group, and that comes up for you at 4 o'clock this afternoon, and of course we've got Croatia against Nigeria, Chris's favourite team. He'll be doing that game at 8 o'clock, I think, tonight. In fact, I think the game, the third game in the day starts at 5, and then of course Chris has the Argentina game in between that and the other game in this group, as Panhard goes forward, tries to play 1-2 with Dembele, and then the Australians just getting themselves into a little bit of a twist there, Jurinic especially, but it is a throw into the Australians. Here's Aaron Moy, the Huddersfield man, back to Jurinic, the captain of Australia. Still 0-0, and if you excuse me, I do need to just bob it else for a second or two, because I've got the case of the Russian A fever at the moment. There we go, I do apologise. We do have the case of the Russian A fever at the moment. I am a big A fever sufferer. The tablets aren't doing next to nothing at the moment. and it costs about €4 a pop. It's hardly surprising. Here's Leckie on the far side. Leckie trying to take on his man Hernandez on the far side. Good overlapping run here. Chance here for the cross comes in, and there's a chance in there. Oh, what an opportunity that was potentially then. And then there was another foul there. This time by Australia, and a free kick, and the referee again giving 1 or 2 free kicks, but that was good from Australia. Good ball into the penalty area. I think it might have been Sainsbury that played the ball in. It wasn't. In fact, it was the number 19 there, but a good opportunity. And Rabbit, well, there's some afters going on. My goodness, the Uruguayan officials having to have their eyes in the back of his head right now. So we'll kick it off here, but yeah, still yet to kick off in the goal scoring department. Good tackle again. I have to say that the Australian defence has been really good. So Pavard to take the throw, level with the Australian penalty area. Is there going to be a goal in this game? We've had 53 minutes here in Kazan. Still 0-0, believe it or not, and Cruz has won himself a free kick there for the Australians, which will really eat up the seconds really for Didier Deschamps. He must be a real frustrating man, and look at Bert van Guardwick. He must be thrilled. He's sat there relaxed. Deschamps is living. He's up and about every 2 seconds on that bench, and at the moment it has to be said that the French are being frustrated here, and Australia have played the game plan to an absolute T. Here's a chance though through the centre. Good ball forward this time. Surely it has to be Hernandez, and Hernandez surely was tripped then, and the referee says no, he doesn't give a penalty. It did look from the first angle as if a penalty was going to be given. Hernandez went right through and then looked from the naked eye as if he was taken out. Meanwhile, Australia come try to go forward again, and then they've lost the ball and they've got a throw in on halfway. But wow, big moment in the second half this, because it looked as if Hernandez was through here, and did he get the ball here? Let's have a look. I'm looking at it closely. I need that. It's Griezmann is through, and well, we had the best angle, and then the replay cut away. And there's some going on here at the moment. The game has stopped for some interruption here. I think VAR's been called. Now then, this could be interesting, where they've reviewed it and a penalty is going to be given, possibly. So VAR's involved, and it's the first time the referee's having a good look at this. We don't see these replays. This is the replay we've got here. Did he take his man out? Well, I have to say Griezmann was clean through. Was it in or out? He was certainly in, and he's tucked him there, the number 19. I think that's a penalty. I think the referee's got to overturn this decision, and I'll be very amazed if he doesn't give a penalty for this. He's given it. The penalty's been awarded, and I think that's the right decision in the end. I think the referee's right. He's not had the particularly good match up until that point, but I think the referee's got it right with the VAR this time. And if you see it again, Griezmann is through. I got the identity wrong there, but he's taken out there. It did look a penalty from when I first saw it. Certainly looked as if he was taken out. Now, my question would have been, was he in or out? He certainly got none of the ball there for me, and he's taken his leg out, and that, I have to say, is a penalty. The Australians don't like the decision, but I have to concur with the referee. So Griezmann, who's actually the man fouled and not Hernandez as a first port, the yellow card has gone out, and I think it's Risden who's received the yellow card. My goodness me, we've had high drama here. We've had 10 minutes of the second half gone, and it is Joshua Wisden, and I don't think he's got any cause for complaint. It's a penalty. Well, people will have different opinions on this, but Griezmann has the chance here. Matt Ryan is not a bad penalty stopper, as we saw last season for Brighton, and this man can save the penalties. Although the Uruguayan officials will be looking hard at the keepers here to make sure they don't move off the line before the kicker takes his spot kick. It's a short run up. It's going to be left footed from Griezmann. Here he goes, Griezmann against Ryan, France against Australia. A chance here for France, who have been frustrated up until now, to go in the lead here in the World Cup group game. Griezmann left foot, and it's into the corner. Matt Ryan never got even anywhere near the penalty. We have a goal, and it's been a penalty for France. We've had drama here in the second half. Well, the first half was not really incident-packed as the second half has been, but the French are in front, and all that frustration has been wiped out. And I have to say, VAR has done its job this time. I have been very critical of the system, certainly in England. Ryan didn't even move. He feinted to go to his right. He ended up, and Griezmann put the penalty to his left, and the ball goes into the back of the net. And he'll feel better about things now. Did the chance with 57 minutes of the game gone, but. Well, that is a talking point for sure. I did look at the naked eye. I thought that was a penalty kick, and I have to agree. I have to agree. I mean, maybe the Uruguayan official has just probably got himself out of jail there, because up until then he didn't have a particularly good match. Now Griezmann, now forward he goes, and here's a chance now for him. For Dembele now, they've got plenty forward, and Mbappe's there too, and ball back towards Griezmann, who's just charged down. Griezmann tries again, and in the end he was hounded out by the Australian defenders, who now have to come out and play the football, because the defensive tactic that served them for the first 57 minutes has now backfired badly against them, and now they've got to come out and try and hit back. Because the first game, you need to get at least a point to give yourselves that opportunity of qualifying for the second round. Only the top two go through. The bottom two will go home after 3 matches. And it is tough look at Australia, because they have absolutely frustrated the French, but the magic of VAR has certainly worked its oracle this time. That's a foul, surely, by N'Golo Kante, who's not really, to be fair, not had one of his better games. So Griezmann off the mark in the World Cup. He's had 3 shots a goal, a penalty, and he's covered 6.3 kilometres in distance. But it's a free kick to Australia, who need to hit back straight away here. If they can hit back straight away, they can go back to their parking the bus tactic here. But I have to say, VAR got it absolutely right in terms of the penalty decision. The Australians, tough competitors they are up against it now. Well, unless Moy can put in another good delivery like he did in the first half, and it could be an equaliser. But it's all kicked off here as we come up towards an hour. Moy with a free kick into the penalty area. Number 2. Australians, and they claim a penalty. They want a penalty for handball. He's given a penalty. A penalty to Australia for hands against Ntiti. Oh my word! The last 5 minutes it has kicked off big time. The Uruguayan officials given 2 penalties, one by the aid of VAR, and now the French are complaining. Is it going to be another VAR job? And Ntiti is incensed. It's all kicked off here in Kazan. There's a 3 kick. Moyes there. Yes, handball. Definite handball. No question about it. The referee's got it spot on. It's a clear handball. He's got his arm up. It's a penalty. The referee's absolutely spot on, and I think Ntiti should be booked for a deliberate handball as well. Well, what a 5 minutes we've had here. Well, it's took a while to get going this game. Well, that was brainless from Samuel Ntiti, and Jelinek of Aston Villa has the opportunity of levelling it up right-footed from the penalty spot. It's a longer run-up than Griezmann's was just a couple of minutes ago. This to put Australia back in the game. Deschamps looks livid. So Jelinek against Lloris now for 1-1. What a turnaround here this could be. And Jelinek sends the keeper the wrong way. And Australia are back in this game. Wow. What a cool penalty! What a cool penalty indeed by Jelinek of Aston Villa. And the Socceroos are right back in this game, to the delight of their supporters. Wow! It took about 56 minutes to come to the boil, but my goodness, has it come to the boil and simmered or what? This was brainless from Samuel Ntiti, it really was. It was almost Maradona, hand of God, Mark II that. But the finish was emphatic from the penalty spot, and I have to say 2 cool penalties. First from Griezmann for France, and then Jelinek. We all expected he would go for the blaster. He side-footed it, and Lloris went the wrong way, and France, having got into the lead, have had all that good work undone, and they didn't need VAR for their undoing this time. Australia right back in it, and what a way to hit back. But Samuel Umtiti will be absolutely furious. 2 goals in 4 second half minutes. This has been an unbelievable last 5 or 6 minutes here in Kazan. Well, the game took a while to come to the boil. My goodness, it's come to the boil now. And we've got a last 28 minutes possibly to savour here now. Well, you wanted more action, John? Well, I've certainly got it now. If you don't ask, you don't get. Cruz to take the throw. But there's going to be an Australian substitution. Oh, my goodness. Oh, well, we couldn't have asked for any more drama if I'd tried. There's a substitution. Nabao is going to be coming off. He looks very vexed about it, but he hasn't really done much really for me. Milligan giving him a pat on the back. He has worked hard without any success. But here's an opportunity now for the number 9, Juric, to try and make his mark and maybe become a national hero in Australia. Certainly Jelinek has put himself in that category with a very cool penalty. And it was a silly, brainless bit of football really by Samuel Umtiti, as Cruz tries to play the ball forward to number 10 down the left hand side. Moy, who put in that free kick that led to the penalty. Wow, and there's another French player down. I think it's, I don't know who that was there. The camera cut away before I could identify who it was. This is Cruz now for the Australians. My goodness me. Here's Sainsbury. What a game it has been now. And whatever happens now, we've had drama. That is for sure. We're not going to get another 0-0. So all the games that we've had so far have had goals and excitement in them. Or a little bit of excitement in them. A lot more forward by Jelinek, and we've still got another 26 minutes, 25 and a half minutes to find a winner. Remember, the voting's open for the JB Man of the Match. You've got 25 minutes to vote for your favourite and to see who will win the JB World Cup Man of the Match. At the moment, if it was me voting, I have to say, on balance of the way the game's gone, I have to say Sainsbury's been the best defender out on the pitch so far today. The umpteen interceptions he made in the first half were quite remarkable, and it was really good defending. You've got to say that from Sainsbury. And I have to say Sainsbury would be my man of the match at this big stand. But you've got 25 minutes to see if someone else can do it or be the man of the match. With Griezmann's penalty, countered that within 4 minutes by another penalty, and from Jelinek of Aston Villa. So players that play for Atletico Madrid and Aston Villa have scored the goals in this game. Well, he'll be happy, Bert van Marwijk. Well, VAR's reared its head for the right reasons this time, giving the French the penalty, but there was no VAR decision needed on the Australian penalty. It was about as clear cut as you could get. And here they go again from Aaron Moy's free kick. They're certainly going to make siege here. I think they could. I think you can even sneak a victory out of this now if they put their mind to it here. The Australians have got a bit of swagger, a bit of confidence about them. They know that the French are there for the taking. This is an opportunity now, and again, good block again. Well, I don't know who my money would be on at the moment, but it's certainly not on the French at the moment. They've been poor in comparison to the Australians, who have dug in and never gave in. And I have to say Sainsbury's up there for man of the match. Here's Aaron Moy of Huddersfield Town, and he's floated a lovely ball out towards Leckie on the far side. I'll tell you what, Australia deserve to be level in my opinion. They've played really good stuff. Oh, they've given it away, and then Matt Ryan quickly out of the goal before Mbappe could get there. Oh my goodness me, Leckie with almost a suicidal back pass, and it almost led to a goal for France, and it would have been one of the most cheapest goals you would have ever seen. It would have been up there with the mistake by David De Gea last night. Wow, It's some match this now. Griezmann, who's got the first penalty. Well, this now has to go down as a dramatic finish now if we're going to get a winner here. As Varane plays a 1-2, gets it back again. It's a throw-in. Fekir is going to come on, and Olivier Giroud are going to come on. Double substitution time for Didier Deschamps. And I think those two, quality-wise, have the nous. This is the opportunity here, and Mbappé's through. And he's a very quick player because he's 18, 19 years old. And he almost got through there. But Matt Ryan, as he's done for so many months at Brighton since he's come here, he's been one of the Premier League's better goalkeepers. Up there with the likes of David De Gea and Ederson and Nick Pope, of course, at Burnley. As Olivier Giroud about to come on to the field. And Fekir, who was all but at Anfield for the start of next season, but then had the pull and the move pulled from under his, and the rug pulled from under him. He's moved to Liverpool, pulled from under his feet. But it's all about now Dembele as he crosses into the penalty area. Still 1-1 here. What a game we've had here in Kazan. The second half has been really good, and that's a shot. He must have missed his shot there from about 45 yards out, which was charged down. Still 1-1 is the score, and I have to say, for the life of me, it has been an unbelievable first half, or second half I should say. First half really failed to live up to its billing, and Australia were very, very good in defence. One has to give them credit. That's how to play. That ball didn't in the end find Griezmann. Well, halfway through the second half then, and here's the double substitution. And Olivier Giroud, who left Arsenal in January to join Chelsea, and Griezmann is being substituted. Well, that is a bit of a surprise. I have to say, Griezmann looked a little bit perplexed by that. It's a strange move from Didier Deschamps. He's the talisman, the man that makes France tick, and he's coming off the field, and this might be good news for Australia here. Seeing the back of him. But it's a real opportunity for Sainsbury at Cole now to battle against this big man, Olivier Giroud, who can get goals out of nothing, as we saw in the cup final, as we saw in the FA Cup this season. Scored a couple of goals against Southampton in the semi-finals. Fekir is on as well. I'm sure I didn't see who he replaced. I was concentrated on the Giroud substitution, so if anyone can enlighten me who's replaced who. And well, looked a foul there on the Australian player, but the referee allowing it to go on. Well, there's no problem in identifying who Olivier Giroud is. He's the guy with the big bandage round his head. Here's Pogba now, and the referees had to stop it again. His boot actually came off, funnily enough, Paul Pogba. Now a chance here for Irvine to come on for Australia. This is what happened. He's lost his boot there. That's what happened. Now then, another substitution for Australia. Rogic is going to come off, and number 22 Irvine is going to come on. What an opportunity for this number 22 Irvine. He's a really hard worker himself. Rogic has done really well, worked very hard up front, played in that number 10 role, getting good up round of applause from the man who's about to replace him, Irvine. As I said, Fekir is on. I don't know who he came on for actually. I'll have to double check that, but what I do know is that Rogic is off and Irvine is on. The long ball over the top, that's surely offside against Giroud. It's not. The referee's allowed it to go. It is a goal kick, is it? No, he's given a corner. It did look as if he was suspiciously offside. So that's it. That's a really strange one. I just have. It's Dembele who's off, by the way, for Fekir. So that's the That's the change being made. Well, that was from the corner, I think, and it's out for a goal kick anyway. So we're back live with the action now, and well, 72 minutes gone. Usually in these games you get a better you don't get a great first half, but in the second half it's all been all action, and you can't deny that. Here's an opportunity for Fekir now to take the opportunity. The man who was due to be Liverpool bound, but his club, Lyon, pulled the plug on the deal. And now a chance now. Oh, what a tackle that was. That was a really good tackle, because it looked as if Cruz was through. But the French defender got back there, did really well, and stopped him there. Played 73 minutes. Well, less than just 17 minutes away from the end plus stoppage time. And if Australia were to get a positive result, wow, that would be a great result for Australia. And also what Chris Melton mentioned, France have been a great football side. Yeah, they had the spats in the 2010 World Cup and that, but there was also the poor defence in 2002. Of course, they went out at the first round when they lost on the opening day, if you remember, to Senegal. A goal from Mari Beran, a goal from Mari Beran. No, it wasn't Beran Diouf, it was El Hadji Diouf. Remember him, El Hadji Diouf? He got a move to Liverpool on that one moment. He did. And the French actually stumbled out at the group phase as holders that week, or that year. 33% shock accuracy for the Australians, just looking at some stats there. But at the moment it's 1-1, and that's the score that matters with 16 minutes of the game to play. There still might be a winner, there's still time for a winning goal, and here they come again, and it's Irvine playing it out to the far side. Australia going for this now. Here's Leckie against Hernandez. Well, that's been a good battle on that far side, and then he gives it straight away. You don't want to be giving it away to N'Golo Kante, because he can murder people like that. Now then, a chance here for Fekir, number 18, Fekir now coming forward. He's got Mbappe up ahead as well, and Giroud, so it's a new up front three. So two in the front three have been swapped around, and I would fancy that Giroud will be the central striker, with Fekir and Mbappe on the flanks, because they're going the pace he was, and Giroud, as I say, is more, as everyone's been saying, is more of a target back. Now Pjanic plays it back. This is Sainsbury now, 1-1 with quarter of an hour exactly to go here in Kazan. First of a quadruple bunch of live games for you here from this World Cup. My goodness, the JB Clarke YouTube channel is going to be busy today. We'll be off the air at about just after 2 o'clock this afternoon for about 45 minutes, and then we'll be back with you for the other games, of course. Wow, some games we're going to have here. These kick-off times are British times, so just to give you a flavour of what's coming up here later on, I'm sure Chris will tell you what's been happening. So the other games will be on. I think one is at 2, one's at 5. So the Argentina game kicks off in just over 90 minutes time. Chris will have commentary on that one. I'll be presenting. Then I'll be back on the mic at 5 o'clock for Peru against Denmark. And then Chris will be back on mic with his favourite team, Nigeria, as they take on the Croats in Group D. So Chris has got the Group D opening fixtures. I've got Group Z at the moment, and in this particular Group C match we've got 1-1 at the moment, and another foul there on the Australians. So free kick in a very good position, and guess who's over the free kick? None other than our old friend from Huddersfield, Aaron Moy. Must be about 20-30 yards out. Started his career incidentally at Manchester City. Everybody's in there. One or two others is in there. The free kick taken short here. Chance here to get the ball into the box. It was charged down. They appealed for a handball, but the referee or assistant weren't going to give it. It is an Australia throw, and there's going to be another change. France are about to make their third and final substitution. And it's a big throw in the dice now for Didier Deschamps. Irvine battling for it on the far side with Hernandez, but loses out to Fernandez, and it's a throw in to France, level with their own penalty area. But the Australians are not biting in, and Aaron Moynihan, in his determination, has won the ball back terrifically well. Australia now, they're giving France a right scare here today. And there's still 13 minutes to cause an absolute sensation here in this World Cup. Now, we've not seen many shocks so far. Well, we've seen Iran yesterday with a crazy own goal. Australia, if they could get another one, and hang on, my goodness, it would be the shock of the whole tournament so far. So Matuidi comes on. Off comes Tolisso, on comes Matuidi. France have pulled out all the stops now. It's been Zachary Blair rather than Nicolas Laurent for the French. And as far as the Australians are concerned, they're going for the crouch. 1-1. 12 minutes to go here in Kazan in the 2018 FIFA World Cup. Group C this is. And still the French, who are favourites to go through on the group. It all depends on how Denmark and Peru are, who their famous World Cup moment of course came in 1978. More about that little run during the second commentary that we'll have of them against Denmark. And of course that has a special interest for me because the Danish keeper Schmeichel is in my Works 3 team, so I'll have a little bit of a special interest in that one. And that's a game we'll be on the air for that one at 10 to 5 this afternoon. Meanwhile here it remains 1-1. 19 minutes left in an all action game here in Kazan. Certainly as far as the second half is concerned. Here's Matuidi getting his first touch on the far side. Got Pogba in a bit of space. Pogba's ball was the ball to Pogba was a bit strong. He kept hold of possession remarkably well. And again, hooked away once more by the Australian defence. Remember covering France's opening game of the Euros 2 years ago, and they made hard work of beating Romania in Paris in the Stade de France. A late goal was enough to see them over the line that night. Now they're going to have to work hard to beat this stubborn Australian team who have not given in or dug in. This is Matuidi on the far side trying to thread it through to Giroud on the edge of the Australian penalty area. The Aussies have got it out and now they're tired looking at the moment. And I think stamina's going to play a part now in the final 10 minutes. Here's a chance now for Giroud. Through the middle it goes, and a little flick and off the crossbar. Did it cross the line? Goal line technology will tell us. Pogba's claiming it's a goal, I think it's a goal. Yes, it's gone over the line. Paul Pogba for France with 10 minutes to go. Goal line technology this time comes to France's aid. And the French have broken Australian hearts. The ball looked as if it crossed the line. It was Pogba there, and there was a 1-1-2, and Pogba with the shot. He gets a deflection here. Oh, I have to say, it looked as if it crossed the line. It gets a deflection here. It's looped over poor Matt Ryan, who can't do anything about it, and it's clearly crossed the line. The goal technology system in operation has got that spot on for me. That's over the line. This is the best angle I've just seen it above. Yeah, he's clearly a yard or two over the line. No doubt about it. They needed the aid of technology today, the French. And my word, they've made hard work of this, but they're going to win the game if they can hold on. But remember, they led for 4 minutes the last time. They got the lead for a VAR assisted penalty decision through Antoine Griezmann, but then the Australians hit back straight away. And there's nothing to say why the Australians can't do it again. And the most removed man in the stadium at the moment will be Samuel Ntiti, because it was his silly handball that gave away the penalty that Australia took with great aplomb through Billy Jelinek. But here goes Matuidi, but the substitutions must have worked. And Paul Pogba, one of the most luckiest goals you'll ever see, has just probably put France on 3 points. Here's Mbappe now. 2-1 to France. Coming up towards 8 minutes to go. A deflected goal from Pogba that just crossed the line. I have to say the referee took an eternity to point to the centre spot. It took him a good 5 seconds between the ball crossing the line and him pointing to the centre spot. I don't know how long the delay was with the watch going off, but the referees, of course, are wired up by a watch, special watch, that will tell them whether or not the ball across the line or not. And here go France again, looking for a third. And here they go again, Matuidi on the left-hand side. Can he keep it in? Yes, he can. The ball in there towards Giroud. Header won by Jelinek. And then into the arms of the goalkeeper, Ryan, who has to get forward now. Australia need to start attacking now. They're going to have to be caught on the break, and the French have won that back remarkably well. They're starting to play football now. They're 2-1 up. Here's Mbappe. Can't win the ball through. Then the ball looking for Giroud. And Giroud keeps possession here. He's won possession, in fact. And you've got to feel some sympathy for Australia because they've played up until well. This is the goal line technology. Pogba's deflected shot, and as you can see there, he's about a yard over the line. If we looked at the technology, well, absolutely enormous. It's an absolutely interesting statement. Just think 8 years ago, without goal line technology and VAR, Australia could be winning by a goal to nil. Well, yeah, and we could be talking about one of the greatest controversies for years as well. An inch maybe was more justice than what I said, a yard, but it was the right decision regardless. Fekir with the corner now for the French, looking for a third here, which would be a bit harsh on the Australians. Ryan has done well with a punch away, only half away, mind you, and then the shot over the top. He's into Rome's head, and that will suit the French down to the ground. Well, it's a substitution for Australia. Off comes Cruz, who again has worked hard, and on in his place comes Arizani. So no opportunity for Team KL to join that exclusive band of players who have scored in 4 World Cups consecutively. He'll get his opportunity potentially against Peru or possibly Denmark to hit his mark in that one. No Cahill, no party. But it's still 2 matches for him to make an impact in this World Cup, so there's no time for panic yet for Australia. As we've come up to the last 5.5 minutes today. Absolutely anonymous says Australia get an A for effort. Worked hard their socks off today. I like to think what Absolutely Anonymous thinks of man of the match as well, 1 or 2 others. If you would prepare to give us your voting. I'm still going for Sainsbury because he's done really well in the game. Although you have to say Pogba and the bigger lacks haven't really worked hard, but I'm going to say Sainsbury because I think he's done well. Aaron Moyes a candidate, and 1 or 2 of the Australian players deserve an honourable mention because they played really well. I do think they've actually been the better team. I have to say France's man of the match has been the technology, really. VAR worked out in their favour and the goal line technology worked out in their favour. So, but that's why we have them in place, so we can take out controversial decisions, although it does take out some of the talking points to a certain extent, because you're still going to have the talking points, whatever. 5 minutes to go. France 2, Australia 1. A VAR penalty converted by Antoine Griezmann, and then a goal from Pogba deflected. It was on target, looped over Matt Ryan's head, and off the underside of the bar, and it crossed the line by an inch or 2 to give the French the lead. Australia hitting back in between those goals for a penalty stupidly conceded by Ed City. And 4 minutes to go. It's a bit like get out of jail time really for the French, really. But fair play to Australia. They've worked hard, but here they come now. Fekir through the middle, and he's been brought down. Yellow card. I think that's harsh. I think that's harsh against Beach, I have to say. I really do have to say. And he's absolutely frustrated. I have to say the Uruguayan official hasn't done well. Absolutely anonymous has said I will go for Sainsbury's, and I have to say Sainsbury, I said, not Sainsbury's. I'm talking about the supermarket there, aren't I? But yes, so 2 votes for Sainsbury's for myself and absolutely anonymous. I think Sainsbury, with 3 minutes to go, is going to be the JB man of the match. So a bit of consolation for him. Although it's not going to matter too much in the grand scheme of things, because the result was more important than the winning of individual awards. As Fekir is going to get the opportunity now with a free kick. And it's to the right hand side, left footed. An opportunity now for number 3 perhaps. Referee just making sure there's no pushing and shoving going on with less than 3 minutes to go now for stoppage time at the end of the game. Referee's happy again. Fekir with the free kick and he's gone for goal. Hit the 2-man Australian wall, which did its job, although it did break in 2 at one point. But a real sense of victory, really, a real sense of the like, really, from France, although they haven't played at their fluent best. Sometimes you don't have to play at your best to win games. It's all about the points in the opening stages of the tournament, and then the real football starts when you get to the knockout rounds. Sometimes these group games can be a little nerve-wracking. I have to say, unfortunately, the Uruguayan officials have not really done themselves justice today. But you have to say, VAR's helped him out there. The goal line technology's helped him out the jail a little bit there, the official. I know he's given some very harsh decisions in favour of the French. They got one big decision right, the penalty that gave Australia the opportunity to level, which they obviously took in the second half, but it's to be no avail at the moment as Pogba comes forward, finds him back, tries to play back to Matuidi. Matuidi with a first time cross, deflected into the path of the goalkeeper of Aaron Moy, and Australia now, with less than 90 seconds of normal time to go, have to get on with it. We're going to be looking. Here's Irvine against Kante. Kante's won the battle with Irvine, and Kante's got away from 2 Australians. One of them was Irvine. He's got away from Aaron Moy. Now then, the French are in full pelt here as Ryan comes off his line. The flag has stayed down. Ryan's badly out of his goal, and Mbappe just has to square it now. Can Fekir finish? The goalkeeper's well out of his ground. They took too long then, the French. What were they doing? Australia have got away with it now, and they got forward looking for an equaliser. Out comes Lloris now at the other end, clears it out for a throw-in. It's still not over yet. Australia have fought back before from the dead in this game. They have still got the opportunity to do so. What a finish of this game. But Fekir here, why did he just shoot himself? Ryan was out of his goal. Well, even tried to chip the keeper, even it went over the bar. At least he's wasted a little bit of time for the French, which would have been the more logical thing to do, but he didn't. And as it turns out now, France are having to pull everybody back because now Australia are attacking now in the last stages of the normal time, and they're looking for a free kick. It will break out to the far side. Chance here for a cross if it can be delivered perfectly. Moy has the ball. Moy gets the crossing. There are 4 Aussies in the penalty area. It's hooked away by the French. We're into stoppage time now. We've played the 90 minutes. And 5 added minutes to add to the drama here at the end. 5 added minutes. Australia can still believe there's a French player down, which is going to add on a bit more time at the end here. Although I don't think he did anything wrong there, the Australian. Wow. I have to say my tip for the title, as well, they've not performed to the standards I expected them to. And it's been that sort of afternoon. Wow, dear. 2-1 to France. But it's not been without struggle. And we've played almost a minute of the 5, but I suspect there's going to be at least an extra minute on for the injury at the end, so it's probably going to be about 6 minutes added on if the Uruguayan official's got his head about him. Well, 5% high. Hello to you. Thank you for joining our coverage today. And I hope you'll stick around for another 3 matches and all separate programmes, of course. The next one is at 10 to 2. We'll be back live at 10 to 2 with Argentina against Iceland in Group D. Chris Whiteman will be your commentator, and I will be the centre for that one, and Chris will be commentating on that one. And then it's the roles reversed for another Group C match. Chris presented, me commentated, and then later on the late kick-off, it's Croatia against Nigeria. Again, I'll be presenting and Chris will be commentating. That will be Group D and C's first match is sorted out. And it's Brazil tomorrow and England on Monday. Meanwhile, here in Kazan, it's 2-1 to France. We now played nearly 2 of the 5 minutes. I suspect there will be a little bit more time at the end of the game. What a second half it has been. The first half was not a classic. The second half truly has been. We've had VAR decide a penalty decision for the first time in the tournament. VAR's been involved, and it's my first ever experience in dealing with the VAR thing, and as a commentator, and I have to say I was almost caught out by it. But meanwhile, a free kick to Australia. Can they get back into the game and save themselves? What a story it could be if they were to get an equaliser and play so well. Just to confirm, everybody, that Sainsbury has been voted the JB man of the match. So Sainsbury is the man of the match for our listeners, and he will be the first recipient of man of the match. But can his side get level and get a crucial point? They deserve something from this game. They played really well, they dug in really hard, and for them to not come away with something would be a real disappointment, because they brought a lot of vigour, they brought a lot of spirit and a lot of guts to the game. But it's all going to be in vain unless they can get an equaliser. Here's a chance now. Can they get an equaliser? They deserve something here. Good skills there. Can he get the cross in? There was 4 Aussies waiting, including Irvine. There's the ball back into Bamara Moyne. Turn behind. Is he going to go for a corner or a throw-in? It's a throw-in to Australia. We've played 3.5 of the 5. It's going to be a long throw-in now. And it's going to be interesting to see how the French deal with this now. The 2 benches are all up on their feet now, watching with great interest. The Socceroos, a minute and 15 away from defeat. Here comes the throw into the penalty area, and Jelinek was in there. Jelinek trying to save it for the Australians. Still might break for them. Shot comes in, deflected, and again the French just get enough bodies in the way to stop Australia going any further. And now Hernandez to bring it forward, but again well defended by the Australians. They've defended so well. We're to the last of the 5, but I suspect there'll be another minute more at the end for the injury to Hernandez at the end. But my goodness, what a finish. What a second half it has been. We had a 4-minute flurry where it all happened. The VAR penalty given against Australia, quite rightly so. I have to say, the Argentinian VAR guys, fair play to them. There can be no doubt about that. And then the equaliser, a definite clear-cut penalty when City handballed in the penalty area. Penalty was given, and a Paul Pogba deflected shot clearly crossed the line according to goal line technology. That was given France a 2-1 lead and a possible victory. We now played the 5 minutes, but I suspect there'll be an extra minute more for the injury. The Australians will stop to wonder here. 1 or 2 of them putting a great smile on things here. But surely now we've got to play an extra minute because of the injury. They've got a free kick on halfway. But Australia will be proud of the effort there. Lads have shown their well. He's only played 30 seconds over, as it turns out, because the whistle is gone. I think there was more than 30 seconds at the end there that he should have added on for the injury, but it doesn't matter now. France, hooker by crook, have won it, but you have to feel some sympathy for the Australians. They battled and never gave in, they kept on going and going and going, but in the end the French, and a bit of help from VAR and goal line technology, win the day. The first goal came from a VAR penalty decision after 58 minutes when Griezmann was tagged in the penalty area. It did look at first glance as if it was a penalty, but and the French didn't get the decision initially. Then they persuaded the referee to go to VAR, which he did. They looked at the decision and reversed the decision to give the penalty, which was quite rightly awarded. Griezmann put away the spot kick, and then Australia hit back about 4 minutes later. A silly, brainless handball from Samuel Ntiti gifted the Australians an equaliser, which Yuri Jelinek put away to make it 1-1. And then with 10 minutes to go to full time, a deflected Paul Pogba shot that just about cleared over the goal line. Goal line technology confirmed it. And France have won. What a finish. What a second half. France now top the group on 3 points. I'm out of breath. I need to get ready for presenting at 2 o'clock. So that's me done for the broadcast. I'm going to hand you back to Chris Whiteman, who's going to wrap up this first game of 4, because I have to say it's been an amazing game to commentate on. Certainly the second half certainly lived up to all the billing, but France have struck lucky. They've beaten Australia by 2-1, and it's back to Chris to wrap up now. Over to you, Chris.
Thank you, John. Well, what a second half that was. It certainly demanded a bit more action, and we got it in the bucket loads. Plenty of controversy. And the penalty decision, the VAR decision, has caused tons of debate on Twitter. There's a lot of people saying it wasn't a penalty. A lot of people saying it was a penalty. Depending on which replays you look at, there is a tiny touch from the defender, but it's all down to interpretation from the officials. But it's been an incredible second half. The first half was a bit boring, let's be honest, with only one real chance. But Hugo Lloris making a big save. Let's not forget that big save in the first half could have been 1-0 Australia. Could have made a massive difference. But the second half, it was fairly even, let's be honest. Australia took the game to France. They certainly deserved to get something from it, but just didn't have lady luck on their side. Pogba with the goal that separated the two sides, only just, we're talking literally millimetres over the line with a shot against the crossbar. And France can probably consider themselves lucky to come away with 3 points, to be honest. They certainly didn't show the World Cup winning credentials that they've been boasting across the summer, but I suppose the first match is always where you get the, dust off the rust and get into it. So they'll certainly be looking to improve on that performance, but if they play like that against bigger teams, they've only got to deal with Peru and Denmark in this group now, so you would think that they will get results there. But against one of the bigger teams in the tournament, you think if they play like that, they won't get a result. As for Australia, they'll be gutted to not get anything out of that match. But if they play like that against Peru and Denmark, surely they'll be able to pick up enough points to get through the group stages. They definitely impressed with their performance today. But in terms of man of the match, he went to Sainsbury of Australia. He did a really good job in defence. It was an absolute man-mountain. But that was an incredible 90 minutes. It was very bizarre. VAR, rightly or wrongly used, depending on who you speak to. It's basically a 50-50 split on social media. Everyone's discussing it, whether it should have been a penalty or not. But it was given as a penalty. You can't take it back. And if there was any controversy about it, Australia did get the penalty themselves after Ntiti handballed, so essentially wiped out that controversy. So the difference, Pogba's goal that was millimetres over the line, is what has separated these two sides today. And that's going to wrap up our coverage for this game. France-Australia. France come out victors by 2-1 to top the group. I'm off to take a quick break, and you can join us in 45 minutes time for when we begin coverage of Argentina against Iceland to kick off Group D. It's going to be a cracking experience. I'm going to get the pleasure of commentating on Lionel Messi and Johan Berg Gudmundsson facing off against each other. So it's going to be a fun one. Hopefully you can join us for that, and I will see you all there. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you, John, for the commentary, and we shall be back in 45 minutes for Argentina against Iceland. See you there.